Well, very good morning, guys. Yeah. So last day we just been discussed about this one. Or is it data source communication? How to communicate with a data source? And very importantly, as I said you, if at all you just wanted to communicate with a data source, if at all you just want to communicate with a data source, what do you require? You just require uh, you cannot directly interact with a data source. You cannot directly interact with a data source. And to interact with data source must and should, you need to have the support of the ODBC or the OLEDB. Either ODBC support or OLEDB support should be there. So without the support of ODBC and OLEDB, it is not possible to connect with a data source. You cannot connect with a data source without the support of this. Okay, so that is the very important thing about this one. I said you what is ODBC. I said you what are the drawbacks of the ODBC, and this ODBC already installed on your machines. We learned about that already installed on our machines. Yes or not? Okay, and then we learned about the drawbacks in the ODBC, and then we talked about that what led to the OLEDB, the drawbacks in the ODBC, which has led to the OLEDB actually. Why the OLEDB came into action? Okay, so OLEDB stands for Object Linking and Embedding Database. It is just going to be called as Object Linking and Embedding Database. It was introduced in the year 1996. And some important things about OLEDB is just going to be like OLEDB is designed for what? Communication, like it's a collection of providers, and mainly it is designed to communicate with any relational database, not specifically with any data source, not specifically with the relational. You can communicate with the relational, object relational, hierarchical, network. The concept is like any data source communication. Okay, and watch this picture. Applications cannot directly talk to data source. If an application wants to talk with a data source, in between what you require? You need either a provider or a driver compulsory to be present. A driver or a provider should be compulsory present here. Okay. And finally, we discussed about the very important things to remember with ODBC and OLEDB. What is like the first important thing about remember with ODBC is yeah, the first important thing what you require to remember about ODBC is they are platform dependent, right? Second thing, they can be used in any language, so we need to take the help of some libraries. They can be used in any language, so we need to take the help of some libraries to implement the logic. To implement the logic, some libraries support has to be used. Okay, now, so this is what exactly I taught you in the last session. And then, so every language is going to give you some libraries to work with. Every language will give you some libraries to work with actually. There are some libraries that are available to you under every language to work with. So what are the libraries? The libraries that are available are like, yeah, we have different types of libraries. In Java, what we call them? In Java, what do you call the libraries as? What do you call? We just call as JDBC. In VB language, what do you call? In VB language, we just call the libraries as RDOs and DOs. RDOs stands for Remote Data Objects and DOs stands for ActiveX Data Objects. RDOs, ADOs, Remote Data Objects, ActiveX Data Objects. These are the two options what are available. Okay, so we use this importantly for us, and VB is important for us because we actually, why VB is important means because .NET came from VB only. .NET came from VB only. So because .NET came from VB, VB is going to be important for us. Okay. Yeah. Then I just also explained about framework providers, right? We discussed about the framework provider. What is the advantage? This is faster and efficient in communication. Okay. And then we started with ADO.NET. We started with the discussion of the ADO.NET here. So what is ADO.NET and how do we use ADO.NET in the applications we just used? And then I said, you basically there are 5 namespaces under which all the libraries are available. How many? 5 namespaces. What are the 5? System.data, system.data.odbc, OLDB, SQL client, and Oracle client. So these are the 5 things what we have. Okay. And in this, all of you remember what's is system.data, system.data.odbc, system.data.oldb, system.data.sql client. All these 5 namespaces are under one assembly. What is that? System.data.dll. They are present in the assembly system.data.dll assembly. Are you clear? They're all present in system.data.dll assembly, whereas Oracle client is present in a different assembly. What's it? System.data.oracle client. So I just said you that was put separate. Microsoft put that separately because at any point of time that can be easily kicked out. Okay, there is a reason for putting it separately. So otherwise, these are the first 4 namespaces are present under one assembly only. What assembly? System.data.dll. And then I explained about each and every namespace to you. First, system.data. What did I say? Array, this provides you a set of types. This provides you a set of types to communicate with. For holding and managing the data on the client system, they don't provide you option for communication. It provides you a set of types for holding and managing the data on the client system. If at all you want to hold and manage the data on the client system, you are provided with this required classes in this. What are the classes we have in that? Data set, data table, data row, data column, data view, and the data relation. Data view and the data relation. Yeah, these are the classes that are available to you. So we'll make use of all these classes now, and we'll see how to work with how to capture the data. Okay, next. The second one is system.data.odbc. What did I say? It's a set of types using which we can communicate with any relational data source using what? Unmanaged ODBC drivers. Using unmanaged ODBC drivers. We just use the unmanaged ODBC drivers and connect with them. What is the second one? System.data.oldb. The second one is system.data.oldb, guys. What is system.data.oldb? Same again. This is a namespace. Types of this namespace can communicate with any data source using OLDB providers. Using what? OLDB providers. What are they? Managed COM providers. They're going to be unmanaged. I'm sorry, unmanaged COM providers. I said to you these are developed using COM languages. Next, SQL client. What about SQL client? SQL client actually purely you can communicate with SQL Server database only. You communicate with this SQL Server database only using SQL client managed SQL client provider. SQL client provider is nothing but the managed provider what we just have. It's purely a managed provider what is available for us. Oracle client. Array, this is also same now. Oracle client is also same. But the only thing is you can purely communicate with Oracle database. You can purely communicate with the Oracle database using the managed .NET provider for Oracle client. That's nothing but the managed provider for Oracle. Okay. And then, as I said you guys, all the above 4 namespaces contain same set of types. What are those? Connection, command, data reader, data adapter, parameter, and command builder. And command builder. These are the various things. But here, each class is referred by prefixing with what are the keywords? ODBC. The first thing is ODBC. Second one, OLEDB, SQL, and Oracle keywords. We are just going to prefix the appropriate keywords for that. SQL and Oracle keywords. We'll be using up in our code. So how to do that? I'll show you. We'll see practically how to use those particular things. But basically, totally how many classes are there? 24 plus 6, 30 classes. But how many classes we need to learn is only, okay, the first 6 and the second 6. These are the things what we just required to learn. Okay, so these are the various classes what we have, and we need to just see how to make use of these classes to communicate with the data sources. Fine. Actually, guys, listen. When you're working with the data source, okay, you're working with some data source here. First, answer my question. When you're working with the data source, what will you do? You want to work with some data source like Oracle or SQL or something. What exactly do you want to do? You are just going to target some data source like Oracle or SQL, so your application is connecting to that. What will you do after connecting? Louder. My application connected to SQL server. After connecting, what next? Store the, tell me in SQL terminology. Brainless fellow, storing is inserting. Insert. What do you do? Insert, update, delete, select. These are the actions what we do. What do we do? Select, insert, update, and delete. Okay, so did you understand my point? We perform select, insert. So don't we do create, alter, drop, truncate? We don't do. Why? Application won't do all that nonsense here. Application is only required to perform only selecting, inserting, updating, and deleting. Creating, altering, dropping, truncating, that's all done by a developer before the application development is done. First, we design a database. Recollect yourself, I explained you already about the banking ATM system on that day I said you. The third step is to design a database. You create the tables and all. And the fourth step is develop the application. So application will not create a table. Application is only responsible for inserting, updating, deleting, and selecting, which in general we call them as CRUD operations. CRUD operations. Create, read, update, delete. Create means insert, read means select, update is update only, delete is delete only. So what we call CRUD operations. C means create. Create means insert. Create means insert. Second one is read. Read means select. Update is update only, delete is delete only. So now see, performing operations on a data source. Performing operations on a data source. Okay. See, the operations we perform on a data source will be, what? Select, insert, update, and delete. Are you clear or not? These are the 4 things what we require to perform. And each and every operation we perform in the data source, every operation, whatever it is, it may be a select or insert or update or delete, whatever it is, every operation involves in 3 steps. Every operation involves in 3 steps. There are 3 main steps that are involved in every operation, guys. What are the 3 steps? The 3 steps that are involved for you in every operation is, the first step is establishing a connection. The first step is establishing a connection. Second step is sending a request to the data source by using SQL. The second step is sending a request to the data source by using SQL. Third step is capturing the results given by the data source. Capturing the results given by the data source. These are the 3 things. Okay, let me explain you each and everything. What is one step? Sending a request to the data source. I'll tell you in simple words. See, afternoon or evening, you wanted to eat a pizza. You just wanted to eat a pizza. So if all you want to eat a pizza, you don't require to go to the pizza center or a pizza store here. Today you can just order. So today we have Zomato and all these apps. But before this year, before these apps came only, these apps all came into picture when from the past 4 or 5 years only. These all apps came into picture only past 4 or 5 years back only. Before that, we don't have all these apps available. Okay? At that time, before all these apps came, then also every restaurant used to provide a home delivery option. You call the restaurant, they used to send the food. Now apps came, but earlier restaurants only used to do. So pizza centers and all have the delivery options from long back. From last 20 years, pizza center have a delivery option. Call them, make your order, they will deliver the food. They will deliver the food. Is that clear? It's not like specifically you need an app to do it. Pizzas and all are delivered long back only by a phone call. We just used to make a phone call and say the address, and they used to send the pizzas and all. Somewhere in that scenario, if you just understand, we want to eat a pizza. What we do, first we make a call to the pizza center. We just make a call to the pizza center. So now the connection is open now. Or you make a call, the other party leaves the call, the connection is open now. After the connection is open, what you do, you'll be placing an order for the pizza. You will be placing an order for the pizza. Now tell me, calling a pizza corner, will you place an order for a pizza or a biryani? Pizza, not for a biryani. Remember that. So we place an order for a pizza. Once you place an order for a pizza, what is the next step? The next step is they prepare and send you the pizza. What do you do? You'll be taking the delivery now. Correct? You'll be taking the delivery of the product. You'll be taking the delivery of the product. You make a call, and once you make a call, automatically they'll make the pizza, and the pizza is sent home. And once the pizza is sent home, you will be just going to make a payment and take the delivery now. Okay? This is the process. So what is the first step? You establish a connection to the pizza center. Second step, you placed an order for a pizza. Third, they prepare and send you, you will take the delivery of the pizza. Correct? Now also I'm telling the same thing only here. You need to, your application should first establish a connection with the data source now. And send a request to the data source in the form of SQL. See, in a pizza corner, you can place order for pizza only. Same way for a database, your order can be placed only in a SQL, not any other language. You require to place your order with a SQL. Means that is a request. You require to place your request using SQL. Now, once you place a request for select or insert or update or delete, what will the database do? The database will process the request and send the results back again. Sends the results back. What you are going to do? Capture. So when you place the order for the pizza corner is going to make the pizza and send you. Correct? So when you send a request to a database as an SQL, what the database will do? It will process the request and sends you the response. What is our job now? Capture the response. These are the 3 steps. Did you understand the 3 steps? Read. Is it clearer, all of you? So what is the first step? The first step is you're required to establish a connection. The first step is you're required to establish a connection. A connection should be established. And once after establishing a connection, the rest of the process will continue. Once after establishing a connection, the rest of the process will be going to continue now. Okay? So first step, what is the first step? Establishing a connection. Let's start from there. How to establish a connection? What is establishing a connection? Establishing a connection means it is a process of opening a channel for communication between the application and the data source. It's a process of opening. See, you make a phone call here. What is that? You're going to open a channel for communication now. So this is also same. It's a process of opening a channel for communication between the application and the data source. And remember, the data source can be present on a local machine, or the data source can be present on a remote machine also. None of my business. But it can be on a local or a remote machine. Wherever it is present, establishing a connection is going to be mandatory. Are you clear? Okay. To perform the database operations, the channel has to be helpful. Means the channel has to be open now. You just required to perform the channel for communication. We just, okay. So how to open this? To open that, we need to take the help of a class. Which class? Connection class. To open that, we need to take the help of a class. Which class? Connection class. See, I listed you a set of classes, totally 30 classes or 12 classes. I listed you all. Remember now? We'll see now working with each and every class now. What is the first class? The first class is connection. Are you clear? The first class is connection. We are just going to start the discussion with the connection class. The first class, what we have here is the connection class. So what to do? You're just required to take the help of the connection class now. Just a minute here. Okay. Just now I was explaining about all these things now. Read the first step, first thing, establishing a connection. Is it clear? What you're required to do is open a communication channel. What you're required to do is open a communication channel. And to open the communication channel, you're required to take the help of the class now. Which class? Connection class. Okay. And now, how to work? This topic is ASP.NET. You're learning ADO.NET here, not ASP.NET. Database communication will be common anywhere. Okay. Now, the first thing what we just required to learn now is how to work with the connection class now. The first thing what you're required to do is work with the connection class. Are you clear? See, you want to work with any class. You want to work with any class. What is the first important thing, You're required to know what are the members of that class. Members in the sense, constructors of the class, properties of the class, methods of the class, everything about the class now. Because it's not your class now, predefined class. If it is a predefined class, what do you need to know? We just require to know what are the contents in the class now. Until and unless you know the contents of the class, you cannot work with the class. Okay? So what are we learning now is how to work with the connection class. How to work with the connection class. So the first thing we are going to start is working with connection class. Okay? So all of you remember, if at all you want to work with the connection class, to work with the class, to work with any class, to work with any class, first we need to know the members of that class. We need to know the members of that class, like what? Properties, like constructors, properties, and methods. Not and methods, etc. These are the things what we require to learn first. What are the constructors of the class? What are the properties of the class? What are the methods of the class? Everything we should learn. So we'll start with the constructors of the class, guys. We'll start with the constructors of the class. The class basically has two constructors. First one, default constructor. Second one, parameterized constructor. What is a parameter? The parameter is a string. What is a parameter? String. And called as a connection string. That is called as a connection string. So what is this connection string, sir? What is this connection string now? Okay. So let me explain. What is this connection string? Actually, you want to send an invitation card for one of your friend. You want to send an invitation card for one of your friend. Okay. For some occasion. Okay. In your house, like a housewarming or a marriage or something, you want to send an invitation card now. Okay. Your friend is not present here, is present in a different state and a different city. You want to send an invitation card. So to send that invitation card, what do you require? I require to know the address now. I require to know the address. Address is important for sending an invitation, right? Correct, huh? And now understand all of you. When you want to send it, what you need is an address. And here, the very important thing all of you remember is, address means what here, what address contains, how, name of the person, yes or not. Okay, next. What is the state? What is the city? What is the area? Area in that city. Okay, in that area, which street? In that street, which house? If that is an apartment or something, then flat number. Yes or not? So all these are the attributes that are required for targeting, for reaching the person, correct? All these are the attributes that are required for reaching the person, correct? So exactly, to establish a connection with the database also, we need some set of attributes. Some set of attributes are required here for reaching the database. Some set of attributes are required for reaching the database. Okay. So we need these attributes for sure for reaching a database. And all these attributes are what we call as connection string. All these attributes are what we call as what? Connection string now. A connection string is nothing but a collection of attributes that are required for connecting to a data source. So what are all these attributes? Let's try to understand. Okay, these are the attributes, guys. I'll explain about each and everything, but have a look first. First one, DSN, provider, data source, user ID, password, integrated security, database or initial catalog, extended properties. So these are the various attributes what you need now. Okay now? First one. What is the first one? DSN. The first attribute is going to be DSN. Okay. So what is this DSN? Actually, yesterday you created a DSN. Do you remember? We created that. That is only DSN means. So see, if you want to connect it to a data source by using ODBC driver, we require the DSN attribute. So when you are creating the connection object, you are required to pass the DSN name in the place of connection string now. Are you clear? With for what? For ODBC or ODBC framework? For ODBC. And you don't require this for framework or ODB provider. We don't require for provider. Provider is two types of provider. Framework providers, ODB providers. We require it only for ODBC. Are you clear? And for ODBC, apart from this, no other attribute is required. For ODBC, apart from that, no other attribute is required. Okay. Now let me tell you how to use this connection. Listen carefully. How many connection classes are there? 4. What are the 4? ODBC connection, ODB connection, SQL connection, Oracle connection. Now, I want to connect to the data source by using ODBC driver. So, which connection class should I use now? ODBC connection. I require to create the instance of the ODBC connection class. So, all of you read this description and look at that code. Read the description first. Oracle DSN, SQL DSN, Excel DSN are the DSNs you created yesterday. Yes or not? Where you just created? Control panel. Under that, administrative tools or Windows tools. These are all what you created. Excel, targeting Excel. Oracle DSN, targeting Oracle. SQL DSN, targeting SQL Server. You're required to specify the DSN name in that place now. You're required to specify the DSN name in that particular place. Okay. So, for example, yeah, these are the 3 DSNs what we created, we are writing. So, this class is a targeting Oracle. This is targeting SQL Server. and this is targeting what? Excel. Same class only, na? Yes or not? One instance will target Oracle, another instance is targeting SQL Server, another instance is targeting Excel. They're going to be same class, but targeting different data sources. Did you understand the DSN attribute? Is that clear, everyone? Yes or not? So this is the first one what you require. What is that? The DSN. And you require this attribute only. You require this attribute only when you are working with ODBC. You don't require this attribute for the OLDB or framework also. First one clear? Second. What is the second attribute? The second attribute is going to be, listen, provider. The second attribute is provider. So what is this provider and why do I need this provider? Okay, I'll tell you. Say, for all data sources, do you use the same provider or different provider? Same or different? Different provider, not the same provider. For every data source we discussed, there is a separate provider available. Yes or not? So every provider has a name, guys. Every provider has a name. Based on the database you are working, you're required to tell the name of that provider. Based on the database you are working, you're required to tell the name of the provider. Suppose you want to work with Oracle. For old versions, the provider name is MSDA ORA, and for latest version, the provider name is Oracle OLDB.Oracle or OLDB.Oracle. If you're working with SQL Server, okay, the provider name is SQL OLDB. If you're working with Excel or Access, older versions, it is going to be OLDB 4.0. This works for 32-bit, guys. And if you're working with 64-bit, this is what we have. For 64-bit, that is the provider name, 12.0. Okay, now? If you work with Microsoft Indexing Server, the provider name is MS IDXS. These are different data sources that are available. So based on that, we just require to pick up the exact provider that has to be used. So this is 32-bit OS. And what is the other one I said? 12.0. For 64-bit OS. Yeah. So these are the providers. What do you have? And these are the databases. It's just going to be the list now. Is that clear, guys? Tell me. Okay. So this is about the providers, what we just required to use now. Okay, fine. Okay. Fine. What next? So these are the different providers, guys, and how to use the providers, I'll tell you. We'll discuss about it. How to use these providers, I will explain you in detail. Okay, we'll just talk about that. Fine. Next. What is the next thing? The next thing is data source. The third one is data source. What is data source? Last class I explained to you guys. The data source is the server name. The data source is nothing but the server name. You're required to write the server name. Last class, do you remember when I configured the DSN, we specified the server name there. So that is only the server name is. So you just required to specify the server name. Provided your data source is a database. Provided your data source is a database. No, my data source is a file. If your data source is a file, you're required to specify the file path. If the data source is a file, you're required to specify what? File path. File path is what you just required to give there. Understood or not? What to give? File path is what you're required to enter. If it is a file, if it's a database, it's a database. It's a database, then you will give server name. It is a file, give file path. Okay, have a look. Read it. It is a file path of the file. It is a database name of the server. It is a database name of the server. It is a file path of the file. Okay, so fine. So this is how we're just going to use. Next, user ID password. For the next one, user ID password. Array, all of you know this now. What? If at all you want to connect with a data source, you require some credentials. You require some credentials now. So that credentials is what we just require here. You require to use the credentials over there. And that's what the user ID password is. Read it. Understood? Huh? That is about this. And actually, we have one more attribute called integrated security is equals to SSPI. Integrated security. What is integrated security means? Actually, all of you in SQL Server classes you learned. In SQL Server, you have two different authentication modes to work with. What are the two? First one is Windows. Second one is SQL Server. The first authentication mode is Windows authentication. The second authentication mode is SQL Server authentication mode. Okay. So when you're installing SQL Server, what is the default authentication mode? When you're installing SQL Server, what is the default authentication mode? Windows. Okay. And at the time of installing, you can choose it. You can choose another option. What is the other option? The default is Windows here. What is the other option you have? No, wrong. Mixed mode. You don't have SQL mode at all. You installed SQL. What did you notice? You don't find SQL mode. What you have is mixed mode. Default is Windows. Otherwise, you have mixed mode. If you select in mixed mode, both will work. Otherwise, default is going to be Windows mode. Okay. So you just require to specify the mode of installation. At the time of installation, you're required to tell that mode here. Guys, and this Windows authentication is specific to SQL Server only. For Oracle, MySQL, and all Windows authentication won't be there. Why? SQL Server is a Microsoft product, so Windows authentication will come into action. But Oracle doesn't have Windows authentication. Is the point clear? MySQL will not have Windows authentication. What will they have is only their own authentication. They don't have two authentication. Only one authentication will be there. Okay. So that's why, listen all of you, read this integrated security. Follow each and every word carefully. Just to read means just you're reading, not putting your brains there. Put the brain and read. When do you need it? When do you need it? Only for SQL Server. Only for SQL Server. You don't require it for other data sources. Okay. And remember, what is the use of it? To tell I want to connect by using Windows authentication. If that is the case, user ID password should not be specified. User ID password is for SQL authentication. And integrated security is for Windows authentication. What next? The next attribute is database or initial catalog. This is also for SQL Server only, guys. This is also for SQL. You created tables in SQL now. Where you created? Under it? Where you created here? Under database, you're required to tell the database name now. Because so many databases will be there. Which database? You need to tell the database name. Read it. Are you clear? Yes or not? Okay. And finally, one more attribute is there. What is that? Extended properties. We need this attribute when you're connecting with Excel. You need this attribute when you're connecting with Excel. What do you use? I'll tell you. But you need it only when you're connecting with the Excel. I will write all the connection things and show you. Hold on a minute. Okay. Now, first understand DSN. When do I require this? Only for ODBC. Only for provider. I require it only for OLDB. I require it only for OLDB. Data source. I need for OLDB and framework also. That's what I mentioned. That only I said you put your concentration, understand every point what I mentioned clearly. You need this both for OLDB and framework also. You already password. OLDB framework. Integrated security. OLDB framework. Database and initial catalog. OLDB framework, extended properties, only for OLDB, only for OLDB. That is what you require to remember carefully. Okay, I just given a detailed chart for you to understand about each and everything here. If you just understand about it, I given a chart here. Attribute. What is the attribute? Okay, when do you require it? When do you require it? For ODBC, for OLDB, and for the framework provider. For all the three scenarios, I just mentioned you what is needed, what is not needed. DSN. When do you require? ODBC. No need for OLDB, no need for framework. Provider. Only for OLDB, only for OLDB. Data source. OLDB, framework. You already password. OLDB, framework. Integrated security. OLDB framework, database or initial catalog, OLDB framework, extended properties, only OLDB. And one more thing, guys, I mentioned star here. Star, what is that? Only for SQL Server, yeah. Integrated security is only for SQL Server. Database or initial catalog, extended property, only for Microsoft Excel. You look at the chart, you will get a clear understanding what attribute should be used when. Any doubts on that? Understood that one? Okay, now let me explain you how to write the connection strings in our code. How do you write the connection strings? How exactly we are going to write these connection strings for our applications? Okay, so let me explain you about that process now, how to write connection strings. Okay, watch. I want to show you each and everything, guys. Let's start with, I want to connect to a data source using ODBC. I want to connect with a database using ODBC. Okay. You want to connect with ODBC, huh? If that is the case, you're required to take the help of the class. Which class? Create the instance of the class. Okay. Is equals to new ODBC connection. And here, simply write the DSN name. How DSN is equals to the DSN we created. What the DSN we created? SQL DSN. Same way, you want to connect with Oracle. Same class again. New ODBC connection. DSN is equals to Oracle DSN. I want to connect with Excel. Econ is equals to new ODBC connection. DSN is equals to Excel DSN. And you notice this, you don't require any other information. Why? When you're configuring the DSN, you already set the server name, user ID, password, database name, or file path. You specified all the details there now. So everything is present inside of it. That is why I don't require to give anything else. Is it clear with ODBC? Come on. What is the second option? OLEDB. The second option is OLEDB. Clear? I want to connect with a data source by using OLEDB now. I want to connect with the data source by using OLEDB. First with SQL Server. We'll start with SQL Server. Okay. OLEDB connection. SCON is equals to new OLEDB connection. Now I need to pass the connection string here. What I should pass? First attribute, provider. What is the provider name, guys? SQL OLEDB. SQL OLEDB. Semicolon. User ID is equals to SA. User ID is equals to SA. Semicolon. Password is equals to, my password is 123. My system password is 123. Next. Data source is equals to server. Semicolon. Database is equals to the database what you want to connect to. How do you write address? Yeah, you write address in a comma separated list only now. That's all I'm doing now. I'm putting a semicolon and writing all the details. First I'm telling provider. This is the provider to use. Next, user ID, password, data source, database. And this is for what? This is for SQL authentication. This is for SQL authentication. No, sir. I want Windows authentication. I want what? Windows authentication. Observe all of you. Everything will be same. Remove user ID password. And in the place of user ID password, what will come? Integrated. Integrated security is equals to SSPI. Or integrated security is equals to true. Anything. That integrated security is to tell we want to work with Windows authentication. Are you clear? Yes or not? Now I want to connect with Oracle. I want to connect with Oracle. Oracle doesn't have two options. No SQL Windows authentication, only one authentication. What is that? Oracle authentication. That's it. What we have? Only Oracle authentication. We don't have two different types of authentications there. Only Oracle authentication will be available. Okay, let me show you for Oracle also. Hold on, guys. The first one is for ODBC. And now we are learning for OLEDB. Okay. Help me please. OLEDB connection, OCON is equals to new. Oh, Mr. Oya. New OLEDB connection. Provider is equals to, you're required to specify the provider name. MSDA ORA. MSDA ORA. Always to the latest version, Aura OLEDB dot Oracle. Yeah, Aura OLEDB dot Oracle. It's not case sensitive, I can write anyway, no problem. Semicolon. Okay, next. User ID, Scott. Password, Tiger. Data source, server. Is it clearer or not? Database, no need. Why in Oracle, we don't have this database yet. We don't have database in Oracle. We don't require to specify the database name. Simply require the provider, user ID, password. See, actually, one thing understand, are we using the same class to connect with Oracle and SQL Server? The class is same only, na? That is why you are using the provider name to tell which data source to connect with. The provider is to know, yeah, if I say SQL OLDB, I'm indicating the class to connect with SQL server. If I use OLDB.Oracle, I'm indicating the class to connect with Oracle. That is how I'm telling. Did you catch my point or not? That is how I'm telling to what data source it has to connect with. You need to connect by using Oracle SQL. You need to connect to Oracle SQL server. The provider will tell here. Okay. Next, Excel. Same story. OLDB connection. Econ is equals to new OLDB connection. Now write the provider name. Provider is equals to Microsoft dot jet dot OLDB dot 12.2 for the latest version. 64-bit now, mine is 64-bit. So it is 12.2. And now, no, you already password now. For a file, you already password only there. Directly, data source is equals to path of the file, guys. What do you require to give? Path of the file. Where is it present? E drive. Okay. A folder called Excel docs. In that, student.xls. Last class I shown you now. E drive. Then I shown you a folder called Excel docs. In that I have student.xl. Last class I selected. So that is the path of the file. Okay. So that's what you require to specify. Provider name, data source. No need user ID and password. One thing here. This provider what I'm using here. This is same for Access and Excel. This is same for Access and Excel. Both comes as a part of your MS Office. Under MS Office, Access will come. Excel will come. Both are same for Access and Excel. But you want to connect with Access and Excel. Louder. Excel. But default it is configured for Access. By default it is configured for Access. So we need to add one more attribute. What is that, you know? Extended properties is equals to the version what we want to connect is equals to, I'm sorry, Excel 8.2. Excel 8.2. That's what. So this extended properties is to tell to which you want to connect. Access or Access. Default is Access, but I'm changing to Excel. Remember, listbox listbox control. Listbox supports single multi-selections also. Default is single. We need to change to multiple by setting a property called selection mode. Same way, default is Access. We are changing the property. We are setting a property. What property? Extended properties and telling, no, not Access, connect to Excel. Connect to the Excel. That is only the extended properties, what I said. Only for Microsoft Excel. You require it only for the Microsoft Excel, but you don't require it for the other data sources actually. Is it clear for all of you? Okay, so fine. So this is how you tell. See now, all the three places we use the same class. Which class? But how you're differentiating? You're differentiating with the provider name. When I say provider is equals to SQL OLDB, target is SQL Server. When the provider is OLDB.Oracle, the target is Oracle. When the provider is Microsoft.z.OLDB, the target is Office. Either Access or Excel. Default is Access, but we change it to Excel. Are you clear with OLDB? What next? Framework provider. Framework provider provides you all the three or only two. I can connect only with SQL Server and Oracle only. I cannot use it on Excel or any other. Only two data sources. One is SQL Server. Second one, Oracle. Okay, watch it. Watch it, guys. What should I write? SQL connection. SCON is equals to new SQL connection. Now SQL connection class can connect to what? SQL Server. OLTP connection? Any. OLTP connection can connect with any. That's why you're telling provider name. Just to explain you that now. OLTP connection can connect with anything. For that only we specify the provider name. But SQL connection can connect with louder. Only SQL Server. Is that clear what I'm telling you? Because it can connect only with SQL Server. Because it can connect only with SQL Server, you don't require to again tell the provider name and all. Yeah, no need provider names and all. No need, no need. Is enough. That's all. User ID, SA, password 123, database server. Data source server, database master. Is it clearer or not? What will be missing? Provider is not required because this is targeting to SQL server only. No need to tell connected to SQL server. See, you're traveling to somewhere here. You're traveling to somewhere. Suppose you want to go to Secunderabad railway station from Amirpet. So from Amirpet, the number 10 bus, if you take the number 10 bus, the number 10 bus here goes to Secunderabad station. Any number 10 bus you catch, they'll go to Secunderabad station. Okay. Now, when you get into the bus, do you require to go to the driver and say to him, take me to Secunderabad station? Tell me. Do you tell him, no, why? The target of the bus is the Secunderabad station only. Because you ask the Secunderabad station, you won't change the direction. The target is Secunderabad station. Are you clear? But now you're traveling the same Secunderabad station, you want to take an auto. You get into the auto, and when you get into the auto, you should clearly tell him, what is it? Take me to Secunderabad railway station. Without that, if you simply sit in that and tell him, take me to the station, he can take you to railway station or a police station also. Yes or not? If he takes to railway station also, so many railway stations are there in Hyderabad now. Secunderabad, Kazipet, Hyderabad. So many railway stations are there. Where will he take? You will clearly tell. Understood? See, this is like traveling in an auto. It can travel anywhere. Tell the address correctly. But this is like traveling in a city bus. It has a destination. It will go there only. So you don't require to tell again, go here or go there. Is the point clear? So no need to tell the provider name in this context. Okay. Fine. This is for SQL authentication. With Windows, what you will do if it is Windows? Remove user ID password and write integrated security is equals to SSPI. That's it. Integrated security is equals to SSPI. Okay. Now, Oracle. Tell me for Oracle. Which class? Oracle connection. Ocon is equals to new Oracle connection. Speak louder. User ID. I typed there now. Scott. Password is equals to Tiger. Data source is equals to server. This is how you write the connection strings. In case of ODB and framework. For ODBC, that's very simple. Tell the DS name there. That's it. Are you clear about the connection string? Did you understand which attribute is required in which scenario? All attributes are not required in all the cases. You need some attributes in some cases and some attributes in some cases. You just require to know, look into the chart. I mentioned you all very clearly what attributes are required for what. Is that clear? What attributes are required for what? I just listed you here in detail. Yeah. List of attributes that are required in case of ODBC, OLDB, and framework providers. Okay, na? ODBC, ODB and framework providers. So what is required for ODBC? What is required for ODB? And what is required for framework? I listed you the attributes on one side and the three options on the other side to understand you. Clear up? Fine. What next? The next thing is, guys, so we understood now what we understood about the three things. We understood about the constructors of the class. We understood about the constructors of the class. What next? The next thing what you're required to understand now is, it is about the properties and methods of the class. The properties and methods of the class. All of you listen one thing, eh? What's it? Suppose you are just going to create a connection class instance. You are creating a connection class instance. If you create a connection class instance, how many constructors are there, Visa? One or two are? How many constructors is only? Two. First one is default. Second one? Now which constructor are we using here? Default or parameterized? Sorry. Default or parameterized? Parameterized. But tomorrow I wanted to use the default constructor, guys. What I want to use is default constructor. Okay. So how do I use connection con is equals to new connection? Then if I create like this, then how does it know to which data source to connect? Address is missing. You have a letter, you have the invitation card without an address on it now. Are you getting my point or not? The invitation card is present without a address. Clear? Okay, you did not write the address on that. Without writing the address, you are just printed the address on a white paper and stapled it or sticked it on the invitation now. You stapled or sticked it on the invitation. Then also you go. Yes or no? It's not like mandatory you required to write on it manually. No? You can attach it for that also. A piece of paper, you written the address and attached it to the invitation. Then also you go to the target. So actually remember, if at all you create the instance like this, how to specify the connection string, like this, by using a property. Which property? By using a property called connection string. And here you are required to assign the connection string. Second option, connection con is equals to new connection and directly pass. Did you understand or not? The two ways you can create the connection class object. One is default constructor. If you use default constructor, then you need to pass the value by using a property. What is the property? Connection string. Second one, parameterized constructor. You can directly pass it to a constructor only. Okay, now creating the connection will not establish a connection. Creating a connection object will not establish a connection. Connection won't establish now. Won't establish? No. Then when the connection is established, if you want the connection to be established, you now require to call a method here. What is the method? Open. Creating a connection is like starting your vehicle. If you start the vehicle and sit, will the vehicle go? No. You're required to raise the accelerator for the vehicle to move now. Exactly. This will give you a connection. And to open the connection, you're required to call a method called open. And at the same time, you have a method called close. Open to open the connection and close to close the connection. These are the two methods what we have. Open, close. Is it clear or not? Understood? Open method and the close method are the two methods what we just have. So call the open method to open the connection. Call the close method to close the connection. So I called open. I want to know whether this connection is opened or not. I want to know whether the connection is opened or not. So there is a property called as state. The state will tell you the state of the connection, whether the state of the connection is open or whether the state of the connection is closed. You can identify by calling that particular property. Okay. See, first you created a connection object. Then you call what? Conduct open. So this will establish a connection. You want to verify? Then call the property. What property? State. This returns open or closed. It opens or open or close. It is open or it is closed. And again, you can call to close the connection. You can call close to close the connection. So like this, conduct open to open the connection, conduct close to close the connection. In between, you can have connection string property state. All these are the members of the class here. What I'm trying to tell is the members of the class. Have a look. Methods. First method open, second method close. Properties. First one state. State is the read only property. Connection string. Read write property. Read below. Pass it while creating the instance or pass it in the next line using a property called connection string. Is the point clear, all of you? The two different ways how you can pass the connection string to a connection. So these are the members of your class now. What are the properties? Methods. First I said you constructors. First one is constructors. Second one properties. Third one methods. So these are the things what I just explained for you for this. Okay. See guys, here I listed you all the different options. Connection strings for Oracle, connection strings for SQL Server, and also given the connection strings for Excel. Everything. All possibilities how you can write what I typed and shown you, everything is printed on your notes in detail. Is that clear? Fine. And finally, here we have the members of the connection class. The first one is open. Open is a method. Open is a method. Second one is close. Close is also method. And then we have state. And then we have connection string. State and connection string. State is a read-only property, guys. State is a read-only property. It's enumerated property. It is enumerated property. Remember enumerated property? A property with a list of members to choose from. A property with a list of options to choose from. It's an enumerated property. We have different types of states there. We'll see what are those. I'll explain you. I'll show you practically. Other one is connection property. The connection is a other property. Finally, two ways how you can create the instance of the class connection. The two ways how you can create the instance of the class connection, and that's what I explained to you. Now let us try this, guys. Let's try these options. I wanted to create a form now. I want to just create a project. I wanted to create a project, Windows Forms application. Okay. And here I just wanted to create a form. Here, and the project name I'm giving is DB examples. The project name I'm giving is DB examples. These are the database examples project. And now you look at this, I'm designing my first form like this. Can you understand? Can you see the design? I'm not going to explain anything about the designing. Already, I have already shown you all these things in the Windows programming classes. You just go for designing the required. Okay, let's design this form. So create a project. Guys, I'm using framework. because we just have a little bit headache with the core, I create a framework. Windows Forms app.NET framework. I'm naming it as a DB examples. Save in our own folder. Click create. Okay, now let's add some buttons on it. Okay. To work with SQL Server and Oracle, we have three options now. ODBC, OLDB framework. For Excel, three options. What are the two? It is ODBC and OLDB. My first button is to connect with SQL Server using ODBC driver. Connect with SQL Server using ODBC driver. Okay. Connect with Excel using ODBC driver. Connect with Microsoft Excel using ODBC driver. Okay. So here also we are just using ODBC only, and one more we want for OLDB also. Okay, just a second. I put all ODBC only. Sorry guys. The second one is OLDB provider. Third one, framework provider. This one, OLDB provider. Okay. Next. Same way we want another three buttons for connecting to Oracle. Okay. So these are the things what I just placed now. Now I want to connect by using the different data sources. Okay. So basically, if you want to connect with ODBC, what do you need first? You need to configure the DSN. You need to configure the DSN first. DSN has to be configured. And if you want to work with OLBB, no need to configure any DSNs or anything. By default, that support is available. By default, that support is available. You don't require to do any configurations. Okay. And when you come to framework also, we don't require to do any configurations there. Yeah, the form is ready, and now we need to just connect with the different data sources. DSNs are created now. Array, DSNs are created. We already created the DSNs. DSNs are working. So DSN wise, we don't have any problem. Providers are also already all the providers are installed on your machine. We'll see how they will be connecting with the different data sources. Is that clear? Okay. So tomorrow I'll show you opening the connection, closing the connection, and also how to execute the statements and load the data. All these things we'll check out in the tomorrow session. Let's stop there. We'll meet tomorrow.
Recording stopped.